What's up, guys? It's Justin Tag, and today we're going to Andrew's house and we're going to work on his Mazda Miata, and he's doing a engine swap from the standard engines. I don't remember what it is, the 1.6 to a 1.8 or something like that. So take you guys along for the ride and we'll see how much I film. Alright guys, so this one could be interesting. Stick around, and if you're not subscribed, subscribe for more. See you next. So what exactly are you doing with this car? What are your plans with it?
So I got the 1.6 in there now, and I'm gonna take this and the current drivetrain, which is a 5-speed manual, and I'm gonna swap it out with the newer motor, which is a 2001 1.8 VVT and 6-speed tranny. And other than that, I got a bunch of other stuff under the car that's new. I got different wheels on there. I got TR Motorsport C1Ms with BF Goodrich, G-Force Sport 2s, or G-Comp 2s, and I got a hard dog roll bar. I'm not gonna keep the center console out. I'd like to get a piece to like cover this. The seats are out of it right now, but there's one chilling right there. It's a Corvette Clubman, and then I have harnesses as well to match. They're already that's already mounted in the car, but I have to strap it over because the roll bar's new. I have a really nice Circuit Sports shift knob. It's weighted and everything.
You want to explain how, like, what you got, how you got the motor, or how?
Yeah. So originally, this car had a red, really nice matching OEM hardtop, and I was really stupid and decided that I would get rid of that for that motor and that drivetrain, but I got everything with it. Not a single wire on the whole thing is cut, and I have the entire wiring harness as well for a second generation Miata. I ended up trading that straight up, and came across this the other day, which is just a it's also an OEM top, but it's in pretty rough shape, but it's all there.
Just
needs
primer
paint.
for now.
It really just needs paint. That's all it
Yeah.
needs. It has side
Not
strikers, it has front strikers, everything's there. No defrost, no headliner, so it's pretty bare bones. But around the back of the car, I got a custom rear bash bar. It's nice. Under the car, I've got exhaust-wise, I've got an eBay exhaust. It's like, honestly, if you could hear it, it sounds great. It sounded great just as a 1.6. It really wasn't raspy and it wasn't annoying whatsoever. It really wasn't extremely loud anyways, and then there's also Flying Miata frame rails under the car supporting it. And there's an energy hub and quick release, and there's also a energy steering wheel as well.
Yeah, we have that sitting in the car.
So as far as it is now, I need a rear differential, axles, and I need a ECU, and the car is pretty much done. I mean, as it sits, there's a lot more that I would like to do to it, and I'm going to do to it. I'd like to redo the suspension because it's just basic Raceland Ultimos, so it's really nothing special. I'd like to redo all my control arms and all that stuff, and redo all my poly bushings, like all that stuff. So there's plans, there's work to be done, but I mean, for the most part, it'll be a really, really, really fun car that can probably beat a stock Civic, so that'd be nice.
Fair enough. Lightweight.
As long as I can do that. But I mean, I could beat anything around a turn, so that's okay.
Did you plan on doing any drifting or anything with this?
Hell no, but I am going to weld the diff, and if this diff ends up blowing up, which is a stock 1.6 diff, I'm just going to swap it for a 1.8 diff. I'm going to beef this up as much as I can. It's just an open diff, so it's really weak, and it can snap under its own power, and this thing's only produced like, I want to say like 95 horsepower, which is really on a good day, maybe 100 horsepower, and that's really on a good day. But like, they can snap under that little of power, so I'm going to try to beef it up, and then when it does break, swap it out for a 1.8 diff. Maybe just light street drifting, and like everything. But this car will be tracked at. I'd like to go to Nelson Ledges. I'd like to take it to a couple events that the Ohio Miata owners throw together every year. So that's really the goal of it. It's just the car is meant to be driven. It's going to be built to be driven. I'm going to put some miles on it.
driven, bro.
I mean, as it sits, this thing only has 95K on it, under 95K.
What's the new motor have?
I want to say it's sitting at 124. But compression's perfect all around, so I really can't complain.
180 compression
I really couldn't pass it up for the deal because, I mean...
No. And while it's out, you can always clean it up a little bit too.
Yeah, I have plans to do that too. It's got a really nice exhaust manifold on there. It's actually stock to the car, but it's the best free-flowing exhaust manifold that Mazda produced. It's an NB2 header, so that'll be nice to have on there. I got other plans eventually too. I'd like to keep it naturally aspirated for as long as I can, so I'd like to eventually swap the head out for a 99 BP4W head and a square body Japanese intake manifold. And other than that, I mean, I'm kind of just gonna slap it in there and go.
Now, if you were to boost it, would you matter supercharger, turbo?
If I'm gonna go forced induction, I'm gonna go turbo. I'm gonna rebuild the engine. I'm gonna lower the compression because the compression in these is high as balls. It's higher than any other stock Miata motor, and it makes pretty much the same amount of power. So that's saying something that Mazda kind of fucked up with this motor. But I mean, it is a VVT. It does have variable valve, so it has its pluses, it has its minuses, but. Yeah, if I was gonna force induction, it would be boost, and I would lower the compression. I would redo everything pretty much from the block up. I mean, I would want everything to be cast, and I mean, like, everything needs to be. I want to cast down. I want to cast downpipe or not exhaust manifold, because I know that they create a lot of stainless ones and they all fucking snap, and aluminum ones ass for Miatas. I have a lot of buddies and groups that have told me parts to stay away from, and there's a lot of things that I would do, and just different rods, different pistons, different everything. But it'll be eventually.
Any exhaust, like...
I'm going to keep it naturally aspirated for as long as I possibly can. That's really the goal. I want to keep it on the road, keep it driving, keep it...
reliable.
Keep it as reliable as I possibly can, but I want to get as much out of it as I possibly can.
Just
and I think a new ECU is really going to bring that out. And,
yeah.
I mean, an EGR delete with an intake on this thing, I'm hoping to push. I mean, I know I'm reaching for the sky on this. I'm pulling out horsepower out of thin air from a... ECU and an EGR delete and a tune, but I'd like to make 155 would be my magic number.
Any new exhaust thoughts or anything?
I'm gonna keep that because it actually is straight piped, and it's a second generation catalytic converter. It's all there. I mean, it's kind of rusty, but of course the phone's gonna go off right
Good
now.
phone.
I'll pause. It's a gutted cat up until. I mean, it's straight piped up until here, and it's even a gutted cat, so...
So there's nothing in there?
There's nothing in there. And, I mean, I will have that exhaust, but...
Yeah.
There's
one muffler.
One muffler. There's one muffler on there.
That's honestly...
Because that'll get replaced. There's a stock 1.6 one on there, but that's going to be in line of that. That'll reach to there, so... It'll be a direct replacement and everything, so...
And what are your goals as far as, like, how long this is going to take?
It'll be done by March 1.
March.
Yeah, it'll be. I want to be everything buttoned up by March 1, and if everything's not buttoned up, I'd like. I mean, I still have to acquire an ECU, so that's one thing, but I'm not going to go Mega Squirt, which is like the typical things for these cars. I've actually been in contact with a guy who runs his own company and does a specific like little Miata company, and he runs. Builds his own boards and stuff for him, and I asked him and talked to him, and he's actually going to wire me a custom board to be able to run a VVT into the NA chassis, which it's a very common swap anyways, but I mean, you have to typically do wiring yourself, and it'll just make it a lot more plug and play friendly, so I can kind of just utilize pre-existing power cords and cables and stuff like that. So, and I even, like I said, I have the full harness, so I really just have to plug and play. Like it's all just going to be unclip this, plug it to this, and send it.
How about paint?
Paint eventually.
Paint eventually?
I mean, I'd like to do a wrap. I'd like to do
sweet.
like a dark red, like those Cobalt SS's, like Paul's Cobalt SS.
Yeah.
Not like the Cobalt I used to have.
A little darker than that.
Welcome back to me. I used to have the Cobalt SS on this channel.
That video actually got like 1,300 views, so that's pretty
good.
good.
It? I'm sure this one will get a lot of. I mean, it's a Miata.
It's a Miata build.
But I mean, if there's any tutorials or anything that, I mean, I guess I could try to show people how to weld a diff or something like that.
Oh yeah, dude. Well, as soon as we get that thing out one day.
But I'd like to just keep these as overview videos, and next time this is on the channel, hopefully it's a lot further along and a lot more put together.
Dude, yeah. I can't wait to see this thing drive and run in the summer and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's gonna be screaming for sure.
Great.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna really be cruising.
Dude, yeah. And we gotta fix my car too. Stupid phone.
Stupid fucking phone.
Your room is popular.
What she's doing?
Shit.
Well, yeah, that's about it.
Nothing too crazy.
All that for a 92 Miata.
How many Miatas have you been through?
I've been through 3 Miatas. This is my third. So, started along in this very garage, I purchased my first project vehicle, which is a 1987 Nissan D21, which I had lowered with the torsion bars and got blocks for and got a quick release steering wheel for. And I was soon to buy other parts, and I was looking at seats. Well, my friend was selling that seat and the other seat as a pair, and he was selling my red harnesses that I have all together, and he was selling it, and he was telling me, he's like, I want $500. And I'm like, dude, that's a lot for some seats, and I don't know about that. Well, they had Miata rails on there. They were all set to go, made for, rails from a Miata. And I'm like, well, they're going in a truck. I don't know, dude. And it so happens that he sold them to me for $400. Well, a few weeks go by, I got into some trouble, and I needed money. And something in the back of my head told me, don't get rid of those seats. I ended up saving the seats. Saw a post on Facebook of someone that wanted to trade a running driving Miata for a set of racing seats. The guy, I think I had a post as well, and he had a post, and it just so happens that we saw each other's and messaged each other and everything like that. And he ended up saying, hey, I have a running driving Miata. And this thing was a POS. It was terrible. It was god awful, but it had an LSD rear end, so both tires spun. It ran, it drove. This was all dented in and smashed in from a previous accident. And I mean, other than that, and the door being completely smashed in and not being able to be fixable, it was perfect. It was the perfect Miata go-kart for it. Like, honestly, it was perfect. So I ended up trading in those seats for that original car, and then a few months went by, and I found a shell because the motor out of that car was perfectly fine. I never ended up swapping any parts because I ended up having all of. I pretty much stripped the shell of what I could. I got a lot of plastic pieces. I got a lot of seat belts. I got a lot of like trunk and deck,
stuff to put on this
hood and miscellaneous little goodies here and there. But for the most part, I kept a motor and I kept a driveline in it. And I'm glad I did because someone bought it off of me. And actually I had a shell sitting in my driveway for the longest time. And the guy who I bought it from bought it back from me for more money. So it just ended up being and working in my favor.
It's pretty impressive, honestly.
I took all that money and then bought this nice clean Miata, which had everything that I could possibly want. I mean, it had leather interior. Everything was perfect about it. And it was low. It already had frame rails. It already had the coilovers. I put the wheels, and pretty much everything else has been from me. But previous owners neglected it and gave it that spot of rust. But other than that, that's really the only rust on the car.
Spot, right.
Yeah, that's really
pretty
it.
good condition though. It's a good story though. Honestly.
It's been a lot. It's been a lot in the
journey.
making. It's a lot of in the making, and this is the final production of
all of this.
all of it. It's
training.
been a lot of stuff. Like, if anyone knows that, like, been in my life, there's been a lot that's been going on over the past few years, and it's finally in a really good spot. And I hope this is like to show for it. This is like my main companion. I love her.
Dude, yeah, this car is dope.
I love this car. Everybody knows this car. I mean, if you were at Soft Grip 2018, I was the winner of the limbo contest. It was fun. I mean, actually, no, I tied with another blue Miata who's a friend of mine and in my group. So, but yeah, we ended up winning. I think they tied at us, but it was close and it was cool. It was a good time. It was a good show.
That's pretty dope.
But yeah, only autocross and no drift.
No drift.
I'm not going to break my car for other people's enjoyment.
What?
I'm okay.
Damn.
I know.
That's dumb. Can't believe you wouldn't want to do that.
I know. There's other little bits in here, like I have to cut out the rear fender liners and stuff, and miscellaneous work here and there, but I mean, as a whole, it's pretty much there.
He's done a lot already. You just gotta get the engine and stuff out and then swap.
Really, the main issue left is going to be ECU and swapping the motor. And hopefully getting a new diff and axles.
Which is all gonna be fun.
What's that?
That's all fun stuff.
Yeah. All the really, really fun stuff.
Dude, no, yeah, this car's gonna be great.
Hopefully, I'm hoping to put, like I said, I want to hit 155. I want to hit 150, 155 horsepower, and I'd like to have the VVT fully functional the first time I start it up, so I'm not dealing with complications out of that. But it's been fun. I mean, these cars are awesome. They're the best driving car ever. It's the best. It's the best. Let me say it one more final time. It's the best. They're the best. Miata is always the answer.
It literally feels like a go-kart when you're driving Miata.
It's the best.
It's honestly great.
And hopefully now it'll be the best with even more power.
That would be great.
That'd be great. Slow gets a little bit faster, but still slow.
Yeah, I know, it's funny. Sometimes when you do flybys with this, you just like don't even have to break the speed limit, but you're having so
speed
much
loading.
fun.
So what's 0 to 60 in this thing? 20.
20.
Probably.
Dude. Can you really see better now with the hard time's off?
What's that?
You can really see better now with the hard top's off.
Yeah.
Dude. All the fucking trees, bro. This robot.
Yeah, I just gotta pull those guys down.
So rear dip.
So rear dip.